So going
All
into
right.
game 3, what are your predictions? Are you going with the Ben and Tony, or are you going with the newcomer Pat and Ezra?
I mean, everything inside of me except my head wants to go with Ezra and Pat just because of that Cinderella story. But I just have a hard time looking past the experience of Ben and Tony.
Yeah, that's a great one. I think I think Ezra's gonna go a little gazelle mode here, and I think he's gonna try and take over a little bit. And I'm gonna go with the underdogs. I'm gonna go Ezra Pat. We're gonna go 31-29 game 3 is my prediction.
I respect that. I mean, I think we're gonna see all guns out. Like, I think this is the grudge match. These guys are roommates, so this game it's almost even more than just like at a tournament playing another team you want to win. But this, like, they got to go back and live with these guys. And if Ezra and Pat take this win, that's something that they can hold over them for a while. So that's a motivating factor.
Yeah. Plus, I heard they have $10,000 on this game. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that too.
Wild, absolutely wild. Oh, great shot by Ben.
Yep, that's a good start. Good start for Tony and Ben. Turn by Pat. Puts it a little high. Easy touch by Tony. Set by Ben. Not a great hit. And Ezra puts it away. Good little rally there, though.
And I think what I'm seeing from Pat a lot is the kind of Kenny Ortega approach of when he sets, he's on the ground. Like, he sets the ball and just falls on the ground, which interesting strategy. I think he's just allowing a smaller space in case Ezra wants to hit the ball towards him. He obviously points.
My guess is he's probably so focused on the ball that, like, he wants to make sure the ball's right that just he's not focused really on, like, his balance or anything. And so then his body just collapses because he wants to make sure the set's good.
Another one. Another great set. Falls on the ground.
Oh! And then he hits rim.
Oh. So that is the one area. It's another skill that people don't really talk about, which is net awareness, which is just something that comes from playing more, just knowing how to maneuver around the net from a hitting standpoint. We saw it Ben first point of the game with a little bit of good footwork and a push, and Pat is still working on his net awareness, I would say.
And I think one of the biggest areas where net awareness comes into play is those long sets running to net and hitting it. It's really hard to kind of time that and be prepared there. And when you have that net awareness, you're a lot better at those shots.
Oh, 100%. Especially because, as the sport has developed, we don't see as many super long, like, far away gets anymore. So players just aren't used to doing that. They're not used to chasing down a ball 30 feet away and then running back to the net to finish. It's very awkward. As someone who's done it maybe 3 times in my career, I can tell you all 3 of those times suck.
Yeah, they're definitely tough ones to try to take advantage of.
Oof. Pat might be feeling it a little bit here, feeling the pressure. Another rim, and Ben and Tony have jumped all over Ezra and Pat in game 3, 4-1 right now.
Ooh, nice little body there by Tony, and he puts it away pretty easily. That was a pretty finish right there.
Lovely, lovely defensive play. Tony, really, really fast, really explosive. That's kind of what I was joking about with Spicy there earlier. He always played, especially Chris, very, very well defensively. So he's still showing that he got it a little bit. Great get, but not a great set by.
Not enough. And I think one thing we are seeing, we talked about serve receive earlier. Pat being a new player, he's really serve receiving. The ball is low, but he's serve receiving it with his hand, with his fingers up, rather than dropping his hand and receiving it there to give more loft on the ball. And he's kind of shooting it at Ezra. And Ezra's handling it pretty well for the most part. But if he were to kind of adjust his serve receive a little bit, he could give Ezra a lot better touches.
That's a great point. And I think we see that a little bit on setting too. He's kind of almost like pushing the ball towards the net, as opposed to giving it a little bit of air, making it a little bit higher so that Ezra has better chance to get in position. So that's a great observation.
Pretty drop by Pat though, got it off, and great set by Ezra, and that was a nice finish from him.
I believe Anthony Rentsch carried his set back there, so observers need to kind of step up their game.
Right. Oh, I thought Pat could run that one down. It was just off screen and looks like he missed it.
That was a great serve. I thought he was going to get an ace there.
Yeah. And it looks like it's
6-5.
Yep, 6-5. Rim. Nice little flick, but Tony is there. A little off net by Ben, but Tony puts it away.
That was a great hit by Tony, flipping over the net.
It was. Yep.
We already got some calls for a Pat interview post-game. Skylar said, did the salsa fuel you all to victory? So maybe they had a little bit of salsa, Skylar style.
Sure, we can unlock the secret. Is Skylar salsa the key to victory?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Ooh, pocket there on Tony's flick. Good set from Pat. And one thing we are seeing, a lot of his sets, and this is something you see with newer players, all overhead. Again, Ezra's handling them pretty well, but it just often can be a harder time to hit those because the ball is arcing a lot faster and coming down a lot faster with that.
And I think that might be it, but like I always was someone who hated hitting those balls too. Like the spin of coming over. Like I could always tell as a hitter, and there were times where I was like, am I being a little bit too ridiculous by asking people underhand? But it really does change the way like you hit the ball too.
Oh, 100%. Ooh, good hit by Ezra. Tony almost had a hand on that.
Yeah, that was a great. It's almost like a bait defensively. Like he baited that he was going to defend the push, but then Ezra pulled it. But Tony almost knew that Ezra was going to pull it and try to get a hand out at the last. So that's something you see very commonly at the Premier level defensively.
Baiting is it's probably my favorite defensive tactic. It's so much fun, especially when you start to get a read on a hitter. If you can then bait them, it's a good feeling as well when you get it.
Definitely.
Ooh, rim by Ezra. They can't afford to have those mistakes as a less experienced team.
Yeah, and that set was a little jammy, a little bit, which is tough for a hitter. But I agree with you. Ezra at this stage has at least got to get it on because that provides Ben and Tony with a break to put them up. I believe 10-8. Yeah, there we go, 10-8 going into the second stage of the period.
The cheeky little set that Tony had midpoint there, walking away from the net, sets it overhand backwards and put it up pretty well for Ben to hit. But that was cheeky.
He had a couple ones where he was just walking there. Very, very confident right now.
Yep, he's feeling it. Oh, double fault there from Ben. Got that 3-point lead. Can afford it a little bit right now, but don't want to get too laxed.
That is the one thing that I think most people can agree that we would love to see players develop more is more consistency with their serving. I know double faults is something that laser serve from Ezra. Oh god, Ben was not ready. But I think double faults. If there's one thing I'd like players to work on, is limiting those as much as possible.
Yep. And that's like again, I think it's this battle between consistency and I guess you can call it power, or what I guess power would be the best way to put it. It's, do you want more consistency or more power? And I think we see a battle between that right now.
Yeah. Well, and just because we are a sport that is predominantly side out, we're just seeing all types of creativity from a serving standpoint on what to do to make the serve receiver uncomfortable.
Yes.
Oh, great touch from Ezra.
And that was actually, from Pat.
From Pat, yeah, I like that.
Not the easiest one to handle for Ezra, not like an easy put on, but still, it was a pretty good set from Pat.
And I think that's the one situation where like overhand setting is okay. If someone is super far back and you're like, okay, I just got to give this a ton of air so that my teammate can get back to the net. You see Tyler Chiswick do that actually quite a bit. He does set overhand from far.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like overhand setting is more of a tool to have in your belt for when it is the right time rather than it being your primary way.
Yes, I agree with that.
So we got a 2-point lead, 13-11. A good dive by Tony and All right set by Ben. It was a little off net, it looked like. On camera, it looked a little closer, but when Tony went to hit it, you could tell it was a little farther off, and they couldn't quite finish.
Yeah. And again, to what I said earlier, I just think that's a great example of what is so challenging about short sets. Is like Anthony really didn't have a chance there.
Ooh, good little pocket. Pat put it on. Ezra runs it down. Let's see how Pat can set here. Oh, doesn't quite get it close enough, and they can't finish.
Great rally, though.
Was. All right, and they're still. I was just say they're still hanging in there, not too far back.
No, they're within striking distance right here, and we saw in game 2 that Ezra and Pat were able to go on a little bit, so it's definitely not over by any stretch of the imagination.
I got it.
Ezra slide in there, kind of take control of that first set. I think he trusted his setting a little bit more there and wanted to make sure to finish.
That's sometimes a tough one defensively. Is like, especially depending on your defensive team with your partner. Very common one early on was like one back, one close. But if someone hits a hard pocket and it falls in the middle of two players, that's always the worst feeling. So I think like Ezra recognized that happening, veteran of the game, and kind of took over there.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the most great set by Ezra, and Pat can't finish it. But
can I guess what you're about to say?
Yeah, you probably can. Yes, go ahead and guess.
Strange two guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Dead on. What was it? The score was that? I don't remember the score. I just remember it was late, and I believe game 3, and that basically was two guys going to the finals over Strange in 2016.
Yeah. So you're right. It was the semifinals of 2016 Nationals. Strange versus two guys, which ironically, in hindsight, you talked about those teams. They each say whoever won that match was going to beat Chico in the final. Because that's, Strange had Chico's number that year in tournaments, and two guys, Preston was really starting to feel himself towards the end. And it's so, you can watch that match on YouTube, and just to see Devin's face when Preston, I believe, gets that diving on, and Jared and Devin just let it drop in between them. It is really priceless and heartbreaking at the same time.
Absolutely. It kind of plays into what maybe played into that mental aspect we talked about, where missing something like that just has an effect on the mind and the finishing of that match.
I honestly can't imagine trying to finish a match after a point like that, because it was a great rally. Actually, it was starting to get rare towards the end of 2016, those great rallies amongst top teams.
Absolutely. All right, so 16-14. Oh, beautiful foot up by Ben. It looked like it hit rim, but apparently not. Okay, the rally's still going. Ezra gets a poor touch, and they can't finish. What a foot up by Ben.
I have to say that might be the second best foot up I've ever seen of all time. First being, of course, 2016 Chicago Grand Slam, Joel Graham getting an incredible foot up in the semis against Chico, but that was an incredible foot up.
I mean, if we want to talk, that was an incredible foot up. And then if you want to talk about the YouTube video that recently went viral, I believe there was a foot up there. That was pretty incredible. Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
From our boys, the youth champs from RVA, who have just such a bright future ahead of them. They're grinding nonstop, and yeah, that was one of the most incredible. I think that's probably the best on that I've ever seen. I don't know about rally, but that's probably the best on I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure. All right, looks like it's running down the wire. Ben and Tony have taken a pretty commanding lead. 19-16 looks like it is. We'll see if Pat and Ezra can answer.
Yeah, so they got one there on a really, really poor set by Anthony. So they definitely need to force those mistakes. Ezra's the person you want serving in this situation.
One thing we're kind of seeing from Pat, too, is a little late movement. Like, Ezra's getting a touch, and then Pat's just reacting late. And I don't know if that's because he's new or because he's tired, but it's putting him just out of position to get a set there because of the late reaction.
Yeah, I think rotation and anticipation are also very challenging skills.
Oh, yes.
That, because you need to know about the flow of how not just you move with your partner, but how offensive players move as well. That's very important.
And that's one of those things that, like, with hitting and setting, you can drill those, you can work on those, you can practice. A lot of the anticipation just comes with playing the game. Like, I think watching film helps with that a little bit, but really just getting in the game and playing, that's how you more feel that movement.
Absolutely.
It looks like
good try.
Yep, that is game over. Ben and Tony take it 21-17. Pretty close there, game 3. Honestly, I think these games are closer than I expected, especially with Pat being a new player. But that was a solid series.
Well, again, for me, they were super entertaining. We saw a lot of good touches. We saw a lot of good effort. We saw a lot of good rotations. I thought, like, Ezra played really well. We talked about anticipation and rotation, so I think he did the best he could. But then, yeah, Tony and Ben, arguably the more skilled team, ends up coming out on top, which we see so often around that. So, great series, though. I really enjoyed that.
Absolutely. Now we'll have the players on and get a few questions, a little bit of a interview post game. Ezra, we got y'all on?
Yeah, we're regrouping, but I'm here.
All right.
Hello.
Thoughts on that series?
I mean, Tony's a little bit too athletic for us. I think is mostly the problem. A few plays were like, we didn't really think he could do it, and then he did it. We weren't really covering the right spots, but not much we're gonna do on those.
How are you feeling physically after playing a 3-game series where you guys were doing a lot of moving, a lot of rotating, not playing in a tournament in a couple months? How do you feel?
We've been playing for like 2 hours, once or twice a week. So like physically, I feel fine. My knees hurt because I don't have knee pads on, and I've been sliding around. But like I could keep going. It's also the hottest it's been here in 2020.
How hot is it?
It's probably like 82.
Oh, that's way too hot.
Yeah, way too hot.
Maybe for some of you.
Well, let's get Pat on real quick.
Yeah,
everyone's wanting Pat, if we're gonna be honest.
Okay, well, I'm here for all of you guys. How are you guys?
We're doing phenomenal. How was it playing a full 3-game series, 3 former Premier / Pro players on QuaranSTREAM? How did that feel?
You know, I came in today. I had played against another Premier player, Dantowitz, taking a game off him. So I came in maybe, but you know, some people measure today's performance in wins. Some of us in fun, and me in a whole heckin' boatload of fun.
That's
And
what it's
again,
about, man.
We'll take that to the bank. We have 1 win also, and taking a win off of these Premier boys over here. Let me just say, going home tonight, pretty embarrassing for them.
Love it.
Well, thank you guys so much, by the way.
Just curious real quick, on that dub against them, how much are they going to hear about that, and how frequently?
So we play a lot of board games in the house, and let me just tell you, if you think that these guys can go 1 round around the table without hearing a quip or a jab, you're wrong. Every single day.
Good for you.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. I'll pass this back off to Ben, and everybody stay healthy, stay home.
Thanks, Pat.
Hey, it's me and Tony here.
Hey. Hey guys, how y'all feeling? Does the win feel like it should? Is there any disappointment for dropping a game? What's just the general feel of that dub?
I'd say on the whole, a 2-game win just doesn't feel as good. So having that like conflict in game 2, taking that drop, makes the 3-game win that much more satisfying. How about you, Tony?
Good point.
Yeah, I hate conceding anything to them. So when Pat goes around and jabs me, it's going to hurt every single time. And I will not let him win again. When Pat goes around and jabs me, it's going to hurt every single time. And I will not let him win again.
What was that from Ezra?
I think Tony's going to be making dinner. So that's a tough luck for Tony.
Oh, yeah. What's for dinner, Tony?
Eggplant parm tonight.
Nice.
Again, a whole couple tray loads of it.
All right. Well, Dylan, do you have any more questions? Anything from the chat?
No, I think I've been checking out the chat. We've got some great engagement. had a steady 33 to, I think our peak was 44, at least on my end viewers. So
Glad to
for
hear
me,
it.
yeah, thank you guys so much for coming out, spending your Saturday watching some roundnet. I always love doing this. Logan, thank you for commentating with me. But I
Absolutely.
look forward to doing this more in the future. Just a
Yeah.
general note, I've been saying it on streams I've been on, but if you guys are interested in creating content, talking around that, just do it, man. This is a time where we need our sport, we need our community to come together. So I love doing stuff like this. I love doing stuff like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
This is
Dylan.
the best time for content.
Absolutely. Dylan, if I can piggyback on coming together, thinking about that community. I know we're trying to put what we can together to donate some money towards Feeding America. And for those watching, just wanted to shout out, if you guys are able, don't know everyone's situation. Don't see who's in chat because I'm not on the stream, but would definitely encourage you guys to look at feedingamerica.org. And if you can give something, a lot of people need help. So would really recommend doing that if you're able.
Absolutely. It's a
Thanks,
great
Ben.
message.
All right. Well, I think that's all we got for today. Like Dylan said, keep putting content out there. We love to see something. Now is the best time. Like, you don't have to wait for someone to tell you it's okay. That's what's great about this community. You get to know people and put out content. And especially like times like this, like, let's make some content for a good cause as well. Just like Ben shout out. So thank y'all for joining and listening in. Hope to see y'all next time.